Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. For those of you who will be listening later, thank you so much for being there. My name is Reverend Dr. Pjae Stanley, and this is Harmony Spiritual Center. And what we do is we teach principles of the universe, of how we get to be, unfold, grow the best life possible for us, because that is what we're here to do, to live our purpose and our destiny. So we come together to learn, to practice actions, to serve one another, to learn and to grow and to serve. What we know for sure is that God is source, substance, and supply, meaning there is nothing outside of you that can stop you from moving forward if you choose to do so. Not a thing, not a thing. And so what we know is that we are individualized expressions of the one love. Whatever you call that one love, God, George, what do you say, Wonka Tonka? Whatever you call it. Yahweh, Allah.
Great Spirit.
There you go. So many names, and it doesn't even matter. That's just for you, to personalize it for yourself. But we know what we're talking about. So the last time we were here, last week, we talked about who do you say I am, which I love. I love this verse in the Bible, because what it says and what I talked about was it doesn't matter what anybody else says you are. We all agreed last week that everybody has an opinion. And so it doesn't matter what anyone else's opinion is of you. The only thing that matters is what's your opinion of you. And you can change and grow and learn and understand more and more as you go through life. And it only matters what you think about yourself. And you get to change and do whatever you like with your life. That's why you're here. Each one gets their own life to live. And that's what we're here to talk about. Today, I want to talk about the greatness formula. This is a day to honor our fathers. Fathers that are here with us, fathers that have gone on, fathers who are father figures and may not have children of their own, but have been a father figure in other people's lives, and that is all men. And so we're here to honor you and say thank you for what you have done, for what you continue to do, and for what you'll be remembered for. What you have done for your children and for the children in your lives will hold them in good stead their whole life through and on. So it's a powerful thing, and it is right and just that we honor you today and talk about a few things. And so when I talk about the greatness factor, I'm talking about Nietzsche's amour fati, which means love of fate. Love of fate. That is the greatness formula. And the reason for that and what it means is that you are simply loving of fate is simply meaning to accept and embrace what is. What is. Whatever happens, it happens. We don't need to fight or argue against it. But we meet it with cheerfulness and strength to transform whatever obstacles are in our way. We don't need to get upset about what's happened. We don't need to hold in our minds, oh my God, ain't it awful? We just look at it and say, okay, well, this is what it is. What am I going to do now? What is my next move? And that is the greatness formula. So I want to talk about that today on Father's Day, because we are so blessed, lucky, fortunate to have fathers and father figures in our lives. Sharing thoughts about fathers and what makes them great for their family and others is what I want to do today. And I have 6 points. I'm not going to expound on all 6. I'm going to expound on about 2 or 3, depends on how much time, but I will share all 6 of them. And this is the greatness of fathers, the greatness formula that they have shared with us over their lives and in our lives. So the first point of greatness about fathers is that they are here, and what they do is better the circumstances for their children's future. All fathers work to better the circumstances for the future of their children in whatever way they can. It may be the job that they take. It may be a decision to move someplace else. Whatever it is, their thoughts in a father's mind is what I'm here to do is to assure my children's future and to make whatever is happening better for them as they move into the future. So I want to share with you what my father did, and I may have shared this before. I probably have, but I'll share it again because it is Father's Day. And what my father did was to join the military. He joined the military. He was in college. He met my mother They're both from Texas. And they met at the college, historically black university, HBU, Prairie View, in Prairie View, Texas. And that's where they met. My mother was there on a scholarship. I think my father was there because his parents said, get out. You got to do something, buddy. So get going. So he went and he met my mom. And they fell in love. And they dropped out and got married. And my mother immediately got pregnant because she wanted a lot of children. She wanted a lot of children. And so they were in Waco, Texas. And what they both decided was that at that time, when they got married, I'm going to say it was in my sister was born pretty soon after they married. So I'm going to say 1950 that they got married. And they did not want to raise their children in a racist South. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to have them have to deal with any of that nonsense. And so the best thing I can do is to join the military and leave. And so that's why I have all these stories about where we went and we're constantly flying to different places and living in different places in the world and in the US as well, but not in the South. I did not know, and I know I've shared this with you before, and it seems how is that possible? But I did not know that there was an issue with your color of your skin until I was in the 9th grade. 9th grade, and was in Waco, Texas, and was going to a school that was, I didn't realize it was segregated. I just thought it was in that area. I just went to the school where I lived in. Just so happens there was a whole lot of black people that lived over there, and we were all going to school together. And when that school got closed down and we were sent over to apparently it was a white school, La Vega High, and it just caused all kinds of issues, all kinds of trouble. It was crazy. And that was the first time I realized that. It didn't change my thoughts, but it was the first time I recognized, why would that matter? Why would that matter? It's like Martin Luther King. What's the content of my character? What's this color of my skin got to do with it? And so this is what my father and parents saved us from, having grown up our whole lives, not even recognizing that was a problem. And even when that became an issue, we couldn't understand why it was an issue. Like, what are you talking about? What's the problem? And even now, that's not an issue for me. It just isn't. And I recognize it's an issue for a number of people. I get that. I'm not saying that. But that's what my father did for us. That's what my parents did. And my mother agreed. And that's what they did, to better his future for his children. And he did. I remember when I was 20, I remember 19 years old, and I was working at a bank. This is such a funny story to elucidate the realization that I didn't realize I was black. My girlfriend was Hispanic, and she was 21. And so we were going to go out to a club together, and I was 19. I didn't have an ID. And so she said, well, just use mine. And I said, oh, yeah, great, no problem. And so we were telling some friends at the bank that we were going to do this, and I was going to use her card. And they just looked at me, and they looked at her, and they looked back at me, and they said, so neither one of you see a problem with that? And we looked at each other and go, no, what's the problem? We look close enough alike. I mean, my hair is long, her hair is long, what's the problem? Yeah, I'm dumb. But that's what they did. So I wasn't raised with that. I didn't understand that, and I still don't understand it. I get it. I see that it's happening, but I don't understand it because it really doesn't matter. That's what my father did for me. That is a huge thing. It's a huge thing. The second thing that I want to share with you that fathers do is that they foster autonomy. Fathers, more than mothers, foster, I believe, certainly in my case, in my mom's case, foster autonomy, giving their children room to grow, to be independent, showing confidence in their capabilities, and encouraging exploration beyond the safety net. That's what fathers do. So let me share with you what my dad did for us, which my mom wanted to kill him. My sister, we were living in Germany, and my sister wanted to go on a trip with some friends to Switzerland. It's going to be a train trip. And my dad said, absolutely. Absolutely. I think she was in the 7th grade. And my dad said, absolutely. Absolutely, you can go. Just pack up your stuff. Go ahead. Get a ticket. Go ahead and go. You'll be fine. And my mom said, wait, she doesn't know anybody. What are you talking about? She has a train ticket. She knows where she's going on a hotel. She's with some friends. It'll be fine. And she's smart. This is what he said. And she's smart. It'll be fine. Okay. So she goes to Switzerland, and they're skiing and having a great time and all this kind of stuff. But for whatever reason, my sister got on the train. She got on the wrong train coming back. Got on the wrong train and was lost. Was lost in Europe, and didn't know where she was. And so she didn't get off, so they went to meet her at the train, and she wasn't on the train. They hadn't heard from her, but here's what the end of the story was. What she did was, she recognized she didn't get on the right train, so she went up to a policeman, and she said, this is my ticket, and this is where I'm supposed to be going. What train am I supposed to get on? And they took her to the right train. And they let her use the ticket that she had, got on the train, and came home. And the police called my parents and said, she's on this train. She'll be coming soon. Don't worry. Okay? My mom was going to kill him before she showed up. But when she finally showed up, she relaxed. But I can tell you right now, it's very difficult for mothers to release and let their children go and become the people that they need to become. But fathers know this. They get that. They know that we have to be autonomous at some point, and they have to trust our abilities. And my father told us all the time, my sisters, my brother, and myself, that we were smart. Constantly told us that. You're smart. You're a Powell. That's my maiden name. You're a Powell. We're smart people. Okay? Your mom is smart. You are smart. You can figure things out. Just think about it. He would always say that. Think about it. And figure it out. And so I knew I could do it. I knew I could figure anything out wherever I was. I wasn't afraid. Neither was my sisters. Neither was my brother. That's what my father did for us. That's what fathers do. That's what fathers do. Okay? So let me tell you the third thing that fathers do. They pay attention, really pay attention to what their children are saying. Okay? And it's not like moms don't do it, but I know for myself that as a mom, and I'm at home, and there's a whole bunch of things going on. You got your kids, and they're telling you this and telling you that. Yeah, I'm busy. Go tell your sister, leave me alone. I got something to do. And there's a lot of that goes on, just because we got a lot to do at the house, so we're not really listening as much, as deeply. Fathers do listen. When their children are talking, they're actually listening. And here's how I know. Here's an example. So here's what they won't tolerate, though, back talk. And so you know me. So I'm going to try to back talk. And so my father I'm kind of telling what he told me to do, and I said, that's not my job. I'm not going to do that. He goes, I'm sorry, what? Not your job? Well, I'll tell you what your job is now. Your job is to clean up your room and your brother's room. What? So I ended up having to go clean up their room, and I'm grumbling and fussing and cleaning up the room. But later on, he comes back, and he said, you seem to be upset. No shit. I'm sorry. Sorry. I didn't say that to him. I said, yes, I am. And he said, tell me why. And I said, because it's not fair. Why do I have to clean up his room? He's the one that messed it up. Why do I have to do it? And he said, it's not about the room. It's that you don't get to talk back to me. You don't get to disrespect me. What you can do is share with me whatever your problems are, whatever the concerns are, and we will discuss it. But what you will never do, never be allowed to do, is to disrespect me or your mother. Has that been made clear? It has. It has. Yeah, it has. And so I knew that I could talk with my father about anything that was bothering me. Even if he disagreed, I could tell him, I don't think that's fair. And he would listen. Tell me why you don't think it's fair. Tell me why you think it's due. Tell me why you think you can do this. Tell me. Talk to me. Always. He always listened. And I think this is what fathers do. They listen to you because moms are working from here. Not that the fathers don't have this, not that they don't have the heart, but moms are always listening from here. Fathers are listening from here. What you need, son? What you need, daughter? How can I help you? And they're figuring things out. So this is the strength that fathers give to their children. The ability to discuss and talk about. And the other thing that he did a great deal was that he wouldn't let other people talk down to us. No one, because we were children. You know how people try to talk to kids, you don't know, you're a kid. No. Don't talk to my child like that. Just explain it to her. She can understand. He always said that. With teachers, no one could talk down to us. No, we couldn't be disrespectful to people. But they had to listen, and if they weren't listening, my father would say, okay, you didn't hear what she had to say. My child had something to tell you, so let her tell you, and then you guys can discuss it. But that's how he always did. So I was raised with that. You guys can tell that I was raised that way. You can tell the way I handle things. So those are the three things that the fathers do. They better the circumstances for their children's future. They foster autonomy and independence in their children so they can explore beyond the safety net of the home. They pay attention to what the children are saying. These four, I'm just going to tell you. The fourth one is they spend quality time with their families. Fathers are gone a lot. They're just gone a lot. They have to. Who's going to maintain the house? Who's going to bring in the monies? Sometimes you need more money than your regular check, and so they're working overtime. They're just gone a lot. The moms are there a great deal. But when they come home, they want to spend quality time with them. That's what they have. The little time that we have to be together, because I'm working a lot, I want to be around my kids. So my dad was always around us whenever he could, would take us places whenever he was there, would spend quality time with us. So fathers spend quality time with their families. They stay connected. Stay connected. My father would send us letters, call us, and we still do that now. I know for a fact Bill was just talking this morning about how he sent a text or whatever it was to your son this morning. I know this is what fathers do. They stay in touch. Phone calls, letters, visiting, just stay in touch. I'm not saying that mothers don't do it. I'm just elucidating what I know fathers do. I know fathers do this. Stay in touch with their families. And they're supportive and nurturing. Supportive and nurturing. Always guiding, listening, giving some information, giving some of the best of their experience. They've lived a little bit longer. They've done a few more things. They have some experience. So they're always supportive and guiding their children. So this is what I know about fathers. This is what I know about my father. This is what I know about my grandfather. This is what I know about the father figures in my life. And I'm pretty sure that the things I'm talking about goes towards all fathers. This is what they do. This is what they're known for. Sometimes they get a bad rep because they are doing all of these things outside the home. And it seems like the mom is always there and she's closer to the children. And maybe because she's there a lot and doing the nurturing thing. But that doesn't mean that the fathers aren't doing all that needs to be done so that the children can grow up to be great kids, to great members of society. So I wanted to elucidate the things that they do that aren't quite as seen as what the moms do. This is what they do. So what are your action steps? Because I like to leave you some steps. Just remember your father, whether your father's here or not. Just remember. Remember your father. Call your father. Tell them, and if you can't, if they're not here, my father's not here. Doesn't mean I don't talk to him all the time. I feel like my ancestors are always around me. I do. That's just me. I feel like that. So I'm always talking to my dad. So tell them what it meant for them to be their father, your father. Tell them what it meant. And even if you want to argue, even if there's some things you don't like, I tell my dad, I didn't care for that. Still talk to him about that. It's okay. It is what it is. And finally, thank your father for all that he has done, for how much your father loved you, or your father figure, whatever it may be. And even if you don't, I don't know, not everybody has had a great relationship. I understand that. I do. But just because you don't have a great relationship doesn't mean they weren't doing the best that they could to be your father. So just remember that, okay? We are blessed, lucky, fortunate to have fathers in our lives. We are. Great fathers don't rail against what is, what was, or what should have been. They just do what is available to them. They sacrifice, they do what they know to do, to see change, to better their children's circumstances, to love and to care for their families. And for that, I say to all the fathers in the room that are listening, and every father everywhere, and every father figure, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I want to leave you with this last final quote from Linda Poindexter. When your father doesn't have your hand, he has your back. He has your back. And so it is.